is the digital asset initiative important these days? Why is it so?
Well, again, because I think as a fiduciary and somebody who's tried to become much more aware of what's going on with my clients' digital assets, and we're focusing more on even their PII, their personal information, how we handle all this, I think it's really important that we up our game as fiduciaries and become extremely obedient to that standard of putting our clients' interests first from the moment they sit down in front of us and we onboard them and we start handling them really in a digital fashion. And I just think there's some risk there that if we're not better informed, better educated, and more intentional applying that standard, that improper things happen with our clients' data.
So is data or this digital presence, is it an asset?
Well, you're asking a CPA what constitutes an asset. Well, certainly this video, which is a digital representation of this interview, in some ways will become an asset of someone's. But really, from the second we engage our clients in this world, it's almost a digital experience for them. From the moment they open an account opening, and that's a record, they receive statements from us, that's a record. I'm talking monthly statements or confirms. We provide them analysis, that's a digital asset. All those records constitute digital assets, and the word asset isn't something that you, in theory, own and control, but in the digital world, digital assets include PDFs of your tax returns, your monthly statements, your emails, our chats, movies, photos, recipes, anything that is part of your digital footprint. And then the conglomeration of all that, there's quite a bit of value. And ultimately, as a fiduciary deals with wealth management and assets, I do think we have to be mindful of our role in that, and those digital assets are being created or being provided, being provided to us in safekeeping, so to speak. So all that in a conglomeration for you adds up to a pretty big value. And I think if you just simply looked at the market values of Facebook, Google, anything that's a freemium model out there, that's really representation of our inherent collective value as individuals.
So, in a way, you're almost like a gatekeeper in some fashion for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think off script I mentioned to you the fact that we're both from near Steele County. We're 4 or 5 miles from a large railroad yard, which used to be, I think, one of the largest. It's not the largest railroad yards in the world. And as a young kid, I think many of us are fascinated watching all these trains come into this huge yard, and that's a switch yard. And at that point in time, that cargo is very valuable, not unlike that digital highway of all of our data, some of it being funneled through us as CPAs and wealth advisors and so forth. No different. You're watching that cargo coming into that switch yard, and at one point in time, humans were the switch operators, and manually. And of course, if they would miss a beat or be asleep, in other words, asleep at the switch, bad things would happen. I think we all heard of the term "asleep at the switch." That's where it came from. So if you were asleep at the switch, valuable cargo could crash into each other. People could die. There could be bad things that happen. And really, in terms with our clients in our digital ecosystem, we too are making choices of our clients' digital data, their PII, their information, and we also, frankly, choose many, many different vendors that we work with, and that data is being moved. And the real question, I said, well, who's the switch operator? Who's serving in that capacity? Do we even know? And with a lot of my peers, arguably, including myself at one point in time, I really didn't know who really is watching over that switch when we're switching our clients' data to a vendor. Are we meeting that fiduciary standard? Are we asleep? I think we all have to collectively ask ourselves, are we asleep?